For the first time in months, watching the Yankees doesn't feel like a chore.
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen every day. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias, and with me, as always, is my producer, Steve Granado. Steve, what's going on?
They're winning. They're winning, Stacey. They're playing pretty good baseball right now. Hey, thanks so much for clicking on the show here today. We have a preview of the final game against the Detroit Tigers. Can the Yankees sweep? Can they push to a 6-game winning streak? We're going to talk about that a little bit later on, get you a pitching preview as we always do. We also wanted to ask the question, what if? We've kind of been doing that a little bit lately, but this time, what if they called up all the rookies earlier? We got some numbers to break down for you. But first, Stacey, Jasson Dominguez going deep last night. The rookies coming out in a big way. Dominguez, 3 for 4, gives the Yankees the lead with the homer in the third. That was massive. And the one thing I wanted to kind of call out here early is I've been very impressed with Jasson Dominguez's ability here in his first 5 games at attacking fastballs that are over the plate.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just his pitch recognition has really impressed me so far.
Yeah, he's the real deal. He's going to be fun. I mean, they're going to be growing pains, but right now this is fun to watch. He just, he walks out there with a smile on his face. He looks like he has no cares in the world, and not in a bad way, because some players can play like that and it's kind of a bad thing. But for him, it's just, he's a pleasure to watch. I'm loving it so far. I know it's a very small sample size, but it's really cool to see what he's doing.
Yeah. I'm curious to see how A, pitchers adjust,
Mm-hmm.
B, how soon they adjust.
Right.
Because
yeah.
What's the sample size on their mind?
Mm-hmm.
That's enough for them to warrant, hey, I can't beat him with my fastball.
Right.
So
yeah. Paul O'Neill mentioned that in the broadcast last night. He was like, pitchers are going to start not throwing him that fastball anymore, but, we'll see how long that takes for them to do that. But he said right now, he's just having fun with it.
Yeah, again, he's attacking fastballs that are over the plate. The homer he did hit, it was kind of in on the hands. He had to come in and get it a little bit. So impressive. We know the strength is obviously there. It's been there for years. So for him to pull his hands in on that and get it out to right is impressive. And I've been impressed with him so far. What's not to be impressed with? Obviously, the numbers are great. He's got a 5-game hitting streak. He's homering every other day at this point. So I mean, there's little to complain about, and we haven't really seen the growing pains yet. Again, all grain of salt here. This is the smallest sample size. It literally hasn't even been a week.
Right. Yeah.
But besides him, Stace, I mean, the other rookies showing up too. How about Oswald Peraza last night? How about Oswald Peraza recently? 3 for 4 last night, ripped an RBI double. He looks like he's figured it out at the plate. Looks like his timing is down. He isn't chasing as much as he was just 2 weeks ago. So, I mean, this is the Oswald Peraza I know and love.
Yes, I'm enjoying this. And he also defensively, playing where he's playing, he made a play tonight that he couldn't get the runaround because it was such a crazy play. He had to dive for the ball. But the fact that he even got to the ball and was able to release the ball and throw it to DJ was pretty impressive.
Yeah, it was a nice little diving stop to his left-hand side. And, we've talked about it. He hasn't really played third base prior to this season in reality. And for him to make adjustments like that, I mean, we know the glove is there. I know the glove is there. I think it's arguably his best tool is that glove. So, I mean, I still think the sky's the limit for Oswald Peraza, man. I still think he's going to be an all-star. He's just so talented. And you're starting to see it now. You're really starting to see it. He's starting to get more comfortable. He's attacking pitches that he knows he can hit. The Yankees just this series have really attacked fastballs really well. And that of course comes with the other side of that is the Tigers have just been throwing it over the plate a lot too. They score 4 runs last night, so it's nothing crazy, but again, they're attacking that fastball, which is impressive and what you want to see, because again, 2 weeks ago, Yankees offense isn't doing that at all.
Yeah. And see what happens when you play someone a lot and they start to hit instead of, sitting them down 3 games, putting them in, sitting them down 2 games, putting them in. Yeah.
Yeah, shocking. Stace, I wanted to get to Greg Weissert in a little bit here when we're talking about the rookies, but I guess it makes more sense to talk about the starting pitcher last night. Of course, Clarke Schmidt. No notes. He kind of lost it there in the seventh. His command had definitely run dry. I think he was pretty tired at that point.
Yeah.
That sweeper was looking real nice. He got some swings and misses on that. His cutter was looking really good. So, I mean, this is just building off of his last outing, which was building off the outing before that, which was building off the outing for that. Every time he takes the mound, I've said it a couple of times now, Stace, he just gives the Yankees a chance to win.
Yeah. After that iffy first, he retired 16 in a row. And he had the out pitch working. 7 strikeouts. Like, he was just looking really, I was impressed. And I saw some people on Twitter last night complaining, oh, it's the 3rd time through the lineup. This always happens with him. I said, all right, we'll do grain of salt here. Yes, but also it is hot. It is humid. It is gross here. He was up to 99 pitches in the 7th inning. I will excuse him for this time. It wasn't even a bad, not like a total meltdown where he gave up 4 runs in the inning or something like that. He just kind of lost it a bit because this was a pretty long outing for him. And it was a very slow moving game as well.
Yeah.
But nice job by him. And what I really loved is when he was taken out of the game, how happy the dugout was for him. They all were congratulating him. He had the biggest smile on his face because, as we spoke about on the previous show, who was expecting this out of Clarke Schmidt? Not too many people were. And his teammates are thrilled for him because they realize without him, they'd be in real big trouble this season, honestly.
Yeah. You mentioned the out pitch, Stacey, for Clarke Schmidt, which is something that we had kind of put on notice for everydayers of this show. What, April?
Yeah.
April, maybe even spring training, we may have even talked about it. So for him to see, for us to see him adjusting and getting better throughout the season is A, amazing, but B, a great character development.
Yeah.
And what I really noticed with him last night, and maybe I've subconsciously noticed it over his last couple of outings, but really in Wednesday night start, what I really started to see is he's doing a great job of starting his breaking stuff, and I'm talking about the sweeper in particular. He's starting his breaking stuff on the corners, which is obviously letting it break out of the zone. So that is everything you want out of any pitcher ever is for their, that's how your breaking stuff works. That's how you keep people honest. That's how you keep people guessing. And, it could look as every now and then, if you're really, really paying attention, you may notice that, but hitters are noticing that every single time they take into that box, they know that he can break one off of the plate like that. But you don't know what it's going to be. We've talked about a lot of pitching stuff this year, and everydayers have learned, I hope, a lot about pitching this year. And I've talked a lot about mechanics. I've talked about, mentality on the mound and the way you attack. And I've talked about tunneling recently. And that's all that gets played into for Clarke Schmidt, right? Is if you're able to tunnel your pitches, that makes all of them so much better. That makes your breaking stuff on the corners so much better because it looks like a fastball, it looks like your cutter, it looks like your whatever. But if it at the last second splits away out of the box, no one's going to hit it. So that's really what I've noticed out of Clarke, and I've been very impressed with his ability to adapt to that. So
there was one particular pitch sequence, and I can't remember who it was to. Maybe Torkelson. And he got him on a strikeout, and I can't remember what inning it was. But I have to say, I like the job that Wells and Schmidt did together tonight.
Yes, they did a nice job for them, still getting to know each other.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Greg Weissert, Stace, real quickly. That was massive. My goodness. The 8th inning to come in, Wandy was gassed. I agreed with every single move Boone made last night, by the way. Wanted to point that out. I would have let Clarke face that one more batter. I would have let Wandy face Kerry Carpenter, lefty, and I would have called in Weissert right there. No notes on that, Booney. I'm right there with you. I was right there with you the whole way. But for him to come in and K Matt Vierling, awesome. Absolutely awesome. And for him to get that opportunity, A, amazing. B, for him to come through, even better.
Yep, I was very happy with that. And I'd like to apologize to Greg Weissert for doubting you ever, because I kind of did. I was a little nervous, and And then I realized, all the Yankees do is win now. So shouldn't have worried.
They've been doing that with Greg Weissert for a while. He's been the closer in Scranton Wilkes-Barre for the last couple of years. So, he knows that situation. He's come into that situation in jams late, gets out of it, and he did it again. Incredible. Great work from Greg Weissert. Great work from the Yankees. They're pitching well. They hit just enough last night. The rookies really coming through. 5th straight victory, Stacey. 3rd series win in a row. Are you surprised?
No. Not today. I would have been surprised last week about this, but not today. I just feel like things are going really well for them, and they're playing the way they should have been playing all season.
Now a game over 500, stay 70 and 69. And you mentioned how they should have been playing all season. Could this have been changed earlier? We're going to discuss that here in just a second. Don't forget to drop your questions for Fan Mail Friday. You only have one more chance. This is our Thursday show, so tomorrow's show, Fan Mail Friday, we're answering your questions. All right, we're going to step aside one time here. When we come back, what if they called them up earlier? Let's discuss.
For a championship team, it's all about making sure every player is a perfect fit. It's the same when it comes to your vehicle. Every part needs to fit just right. So the next time you need parts and accessories, head to eBay Motors. With eBay Guaranteed Fit, you can be sure every part you need fits right the first time around. Just add your ride to My Garage and look for the green check to know the part will fit or your money back. Because just like in sports, confidence is the name of the game when you shop on eBay Motors. And with over 122 million parts to choose from, you'll be back in the game in no time. After all, it's easy to bring home a win when the right parts are guaranteed. So get the right parts, the right fit, and the right prices on ebaymotors.com. eBay Guaranteed Fit is only available to U.S. customers, eligible items only, and exclusions apply.
Back now on Locked On Yankees. Hey, Yankees Tigers one more time tonight. You can listen to it on SiriusXM. Download the SiriusXM app today in whatever app store you use. And, of course, every day, as you guys already know, every Friday, Fan Mail Friday. And that includes, by the way, throughout the offseason. So we're going to keep doing that once we head past October 1st. Make sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss tomorrow's show. And, of course, you can drop a comment down below. Reply to that pinned comment. That's the way you get your questions in. All right, Stacey, inevitable question here. The Yankees are on a 5-game winning streak. Jasson Dominguez is not lost in Major League Baseball yet. And I know where I can see the future, right? It's like floating around me. Why weren't they called up earlier? Why didn't they call him up? Why didn't they make it in spring training? Okay. I'll play your little game. Let's play your little game. All right, Stacey, I picked the day. A day before things felt like the wheels were falling off. And just a nice, easy, round number.
Right.
Perfect day. July 1st. Let's go back to July 1st. Into the time machine. The standings on July 1st. The Yankees were in 3rd place in the American League East. 9.5 games back, but we're 9 games over 500. At 46 and 37, coming off of a win. They had won 6 of their last 10. Okay, 9 games over. Solid, right? Solid.
Mm-hmm.
At this point of the season, Aaron Judge is not playing. At this point of the season, Aaron Hicks is gone. But, it feels like the wheels are starting to wobble a little bit. A little bit. We're limping to the All-Star break, right? Just trying to get to the All-Star break. The Yankees ended up going 10 and 15 in July. Then they ended up going to 10 and 18 in August. And that's where we find ourselves, right? Is because of that, the Yankees fall well below 500 at that point. Aaron Judge comes back to the team on July 28th, right? And that did not make much of a difference overall in August. But right now, the Yankees have a lot of life and a lot of youth. Just without looking at the numbers, Stacey, that I have pulled up for us. Do you think this would have happened had they called Peraza, Dominguez, Pereira, Wells on July 1st? Again, a random day.
Do I think they would have been as bad?
Do you think it would have helped? Gut feeling.
No, because they weren't that bad. I feel like because they did so badly in July and August, that not that they're not playing for something, but I feel like the injection of youth wouldn't have been as big of a boost back then because they weren't doing as badly. Does that make them?
Yeah, and you also got to try and put yourself in the mindset of would they have played?
Right.
Like there's a lot of factors at play here.
Yeah.
You can say all that, but I think circumstance made the Yankees make these moves because they really were like, well, screw it. Right.
Yeah.
Like, because they didn't have that mentality on July 1st. They're in it to win it on July 1st. Right. So
yeah,
it makes it a little different. Here are the numbers, Stacey. Jasson Dominguez entering July 1st. I picked this day because this is when Jasson Dominguez turned his season around. And I just wanted to remind everybody of that. Entering July, Jasson Dominguez was slashing with Somerset. 197, 345, 357. He was coming off of a June in which he slugged 309, which, if you don't know deep numbers, that's awful.
That really bad.
Awful. That is very, very bad, let alone for a power hitter. That was terrible. A terrible June. Oswald Peraza started his July going 6 for his first 20. He had a double, a homer, four driven in, and 5 walks in 5 games. So he got off to a nice start there in July. Remember, he was coming off of an oblique strain in late June. It was like mid to late June. Everson Pereira, come July, played 2 games with Somerset. Then he got called up to AAA. And once he did that, he took off, right? He was playing well in Somerset, took off in July. 325, 366, 584 in that month with Scranton Wilkes-Barre, his first taste of AAA baseball. Austin Wells got off to a pretty decent start to begin the month as well. He went 7 for his first 26, 9 driven in, 2 walks, and a homer in his first 7 games. And, of course, as we know, Jasson Dominguez went off in July. That is when everything turned around for him. So now knowing all this, and remember that Dominguez was in AA, Wells is in AA, Pereira is just getting called up to AAA. Do you think the Yankees would have been better or worse in July had they done what they did on September 1st back on July 1st?
Ooh.
Remember, the Yankees went 10-15. Would they be better than 10-15 in July?
If those guys were playing as well as they did in those other teams, then yes, because they would have been hitting better than a lot of the guys were for the Yankees at the time, because July was rough.
Yeah. I think when we look back on it, it's going to be easy for a lot of people to say, why didn't they call them up earlier?
But
But you got to remember where we're at that time.
Right.
Dominguez was playing awful.
Yeah.
It was one of the worst stretches of his young career. And he completely turned things around. Oswald's coming off of an oblique strain. He had a pretty good April, had a real good May, and then got hurt. Wells is fine. Pereira was fine. He was good. You know, but these at this time, especially with 3 of the 4 of them in AA, you're thinking they're not sniffing the majors this year.
Right. Yeah, no, that's people in the comments are like, oh, you guys said Dominguez wasn't coming up. It's like, yeah, well, it's very special circumstances. Yes. Yeah. Obviously, we didn't see any of this happening. Did we see, when we spoke about how the season was going to be, we didn't envision any of this.
No.
None of it.
Because no one really could. You really couldn't. You couldn't
No.
realistically look at the situation and go, oh, wow, Jasson Dominguez is playing his first year in AA. He'll be the September call-up.
Yeah.
What?
Right.
Even considering his spring training.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not, no one was, like, look, people know who Austin Wells was, but you didn't know who Austin Wells was at the start of the year. Give me a break.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't.
Yeah.
You didn't give me a deep, everydayers, maybe you did.
Right.
Because you know the system in and out and you're hardcore. The average Yankee fan, you didn't know who Everson Pereira was.
No.
No chance. They all had monster years, or at least monster latter halves of the year.
Yeah.
Remember, Wells was hurt Wells was hurt for a good chunk of time too. So this is more just to get out ahead of it, Stace, because I know there are people already thinking it. Why didn't they do this earlier?
Already. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Again,
you could have maybe made the case in August.
Yes.
But even then, for guys like Dominguez, who's still in Double-A, you're going, man, that's a big fast track.
And the Yankees don't usually do that.
Yeah. And they weren't that out of it at that point. Remember, they were, quote unquote, all in at the deadline.
Yeah.
Just wanted to get that off my chest. All right, we're going to step aside one more time. When we come back, Yankees, Tigers, one more time. Can they sweep the series? Back here on Locked On Yankees, SiriusXM is the place to listen to all Yankees games this season. Download the SiriusXM app today. Eduardo Rodriguez taking the ball today, Stace, against Carlos Rodón. We did not see Eduardo Rodriguez last time in that series in Detroit. He's coming off of a good one against the White Sox, 6 2/3, 6 hits, a run, 2 walks, and 7 Ks against Chicago. He's pitched pretty well against underperforming teams this season, but he has struggled against good teams, save the Minnesota Twins. So, Stacey, I wanted to ask you, right now, I don't care what the rest of the season looks like, are the Yankees an underperforming or are they a good team right now?
Ooh. I think they're a good team right now. Like right now at this moment, I think they're a good team.
So does that bode well for the Yankees tonight against Erod?
They might do their not doing anything against the starter thing and getting into the bullpen if they can maybe only have him pitch 6 innings. They got to Matt Manning because Stanton nearly tore his foot off with a comebacker and he had to be taken out of the game. The Yankees were kind of lucky there. Like, I know people complain that Stanton didn't do anything on Wednesday night, but he did kind of help the team there by getting Manning out of the game.
He smoked that ball.
I mean, that worried me. I'm surprised he made that play because he got hit hard with that ball. But you never know because, the Yankees are doing that weird thing where they're struggling against bad pitchers, or at least they were before this streak, and doing well against good pitchers. And I'm trying to remember how they do historically against Erod, like guys that have been there for a while, because he was with the Red Sox for a while and they see him and they know who he is. So I think they can win and do okay against him. I think so.
We'll see.
It's not going to be like a high scoring game. It might be another thing like Wednesday where they do like a 4-3 and it's kind of sweaty, but they pull it out kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, again, they've won 5 in a row. They haven't lost with the kids, and and
it's 8 of 9 now, right? Is it 8 of 9? Yeah,
I believe so. Yeah, so they are playing good baseball right now, and that's all that really matters is they're playing good right now, and that's how they're going to look going into today. Carlos Rodón has been maybe the most curious case all season long for any Yankee. 5 innings, 3 hits, 2 earned with a homer, a hit batter, a walk, and 4 Ks his last time out 5 days ago. He's been struggling with that efficiency and working deeper into ball games, which, hey, you got nearly 7 out of Clarke last night. So your pen's not, itching to, or not, limping here. Wandy obviously unavailable, but they could pick up some slack. It's not like the flip side, right? I mean, the pen had to work all night last night for Detroit. So they really needed Eduardo Rodriguez to step up here, but Rodón, it's getting that third out, man. Once it's him struggling deep counts, things like that, not finishing hitters, especially recently, since he's come off of the IL again. So that's really what I'm looking out for him here tonight is finishing off hitters.
Yeah, I'd like for him to go at least 6. Can we get 6? That'd be great.
We'll see. Carlos Rodón back on the mound here tonight. Again, 7:05 first pitch. Yankees looking for the sweep. And Stacey and myself looking to get that bold prediction /points out of this thing here tonight. You can catch that again, 7:05 first pitch. We'll see who Rodón has behind the plate tonight. I'm curious on that as well. Again, where's Higgy? It's been a while.
Yeah.
It's been a real while. So we'll see who he has behind the plate, who he chooses. Starting pitchers have a say in that. So we'll see. Don't forget tomorrow's Fan Mail Friday. You guys already know that. Drop your questions, reply to that pinned comment here on the YouTube side. Join our subtext if you want to skip the line. Subtexters get priority for Fan Mail Friday and a bunch of other perks. All right, that's going to do it for today's Locked On Yankees. I'm Steve Granado.
And I'm Stacey Gotsoulias. We'll see you tomorrow.